Hello everybody, get ready to do lesson 13.5 of Pre-Algebra Math, part 1 today. And we have a 46-point skill sheet for your classwork, and we have 20 points here of note-taking. Here are our standards, and we're about doing reflections and symmetry today. And today's bell work teachers, find the distance between these 2 points, students, and then find a measure of an interior angle of a regular ninagon. So here's your bell work. Give your students about 6-7 minutes for this. Okay, welcome back. Here's your distance formula here. You plug in your values here from over here, and you get square root of 74 units for the distance between these. I mean, you could almost put a grid up to visualize it if you needed to do so. And then here's our formula here for finding the measure of an interior angle of a ninagon. And 9 will be our end here, and we come up with a 140-degree measure for that. Okay, our lesson today, you translated figures in the coordinate plane. You'll reflect figures and identify lines of symmetry. So in this photo, a bird is reflected in a pool of water to produce a mirror image. A reflection is a transformation in which a figure is reflected or flipped in a line. So that would be reflection. You know that's going to be a definition that you're going to have in a line called the line of reflection. So a reflection is a transformation in which a figure is reflected or flipped in a line called the line of reflection. In the photo, the red line is a line of reflection. So that red line you saw would be a line of reflection. And then here are your vocabulary, students. Define these in your own words. Go back into your classwork sheet to use as notes to write this down. And then our first example here, identifying reflections. Tell whether the transformation is a reflection. If so, identify the line of reflection. So we have this here. Is this a reflection? Is this image a reflection of this here? So that's the question. Reflection in the x-axis, it is a reflection in the x-axis. And then this one here, B, is this red a reflection of the blue here? It's a reflection in the y-axis this time, this arrow here. And then C, is this a reflection, the red is a reflection of the blue? Not a reflection. It would be a shift here, or a translation actually. It would not be a reflection. It would not be a reflection. Okay, for our first guided practice here today, for number 1, tell whether the transformation is a reflection here. If so, identify the line of reflection, and then down here, students, yours is to draw a triangle. Then find the coordinates of the vertices of the image after reflection in the y-axis, and then draw the image. So you have to draw a reflection here. Is this a reflection? First of all, is the question. Not a reflection because it's a shift. I mean, otherwise, this would be on this side of this image here. Instead, it just shifts over to the right. Okay, into coordinate notation. You can use coordinate notation to describe the images of figures after reflections in the axes of a coordinate plane. So you can use coordinate notation to describe images after reflections here. So this would be 4, -1, 4, 1, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this would be an example here of a reflection. I mean, it's x equals 4, y equals -1. Up here, it's 1 here. And then up here, it's like flipped over. This image is like flipped over the x-axis. So that's why it's a reflection. And then reflection in the y-axis here. This again is like flipped over here. And this would be what a reflection in the y-axis will look like of this image here. Multiply the y-coordinate by -1. So that would be one way that you could describe this reflection here. Multiply the y-coordinate by -1. And then multiply the x-coordinate by -1. And this is how you get reflections here, is by multiplying either the x or the y coordinate. Coordinate notation, we already did this, didn't we? Well, we get to do it again and look at it. Now let's go into our example 2. Draw a triangle ABC with vertices here, then find the reflection, I bet. Find the coordinates of the vertices of the image after reflection in the y-axis and draw the image. So what would the reflection of this triangle be after it's flipped over the y-axis? What would it be? So we have our coordinates here, don't we? So what would the reflection be? Here would be a reflection here. This would be our triangle reflected over the y-axis. It'd be -1 here. This is 1, 1. 1, -1 here, so we just multiplied our x coordinate by -1, and it gets flipped over. So you multiply these by -1, and you get this reflected in the y-axis. Then first draw triangle ABC, then to reflect ABC in the y-axis, multiply x coordinate each vertex by -1. So here's the original. Then when we multiply the x coordinate by -1, we get this new image here is the idea. And then finally draw it. So that's kind of like the process here of drawing a reflection of a triangle in the y-axis here is to multiply your x coordinate by -1, and then this is the reflected image here for that. Draw these vertices, then find the coordinates of the vertices of the image of triangle ABC after reflection in the x-axis, and draw the image. Now you would have a coordinate plane here on your class worksheet. Same thing down here, you would have a coordinate plane. If you want that, you have to email me to get a coordinate plane, and you say, oh, here it is here. So we have it in our video, but you would also get that in your class worksheet. So we have our coordinate planes here. So we draw these, then find the coordinates of the vertices of an image after reflection in the x-axis, and then draw the image. And this down here, students, will be reflected in your y-axis. So let's do our guided practice here. This would be the reflection here. This would be the original up here. This would be how it should be drawn. And then this would be the reflection here. This would be your prime triangle here, your image triangle from that. The original and then the image. So we multiplied, it's reflected in the x-axis, so we multiply our y-coordinate by -1, and then we get this image here. Okay, that was 13.5, part 1. If you want part 2, part 3, email me here. If you need quizzes or solution PowerPoints for the skill sets, and you want tasks or online tutoring, email me here as well. Thank you.